The Lewis women's basketball team enters their second week as the #1 team in the country, and the #2 men's volleyball team traveled to Pennsylvania over the weekend. We'll have the latest in Lewis athletics coming up right now. Hello and welcome to Flyer Nation, your source for the latest news in Lewis athletics. Thanks for joining us here on LUTN and online. I'm Shane Gustafson.
And I'm Natalie Budig. Joining us later on in the show is head men's volleyball coach Dan Friend. He'll talk about his team's second place national ranking as well as their matches in Pennsylvania over the weekend.
We'll also talk with Nikki Nellen from the women's basketball team. She'll talk about the team's #1 national ranking as well as their undefeated 19-0 record. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some other Flyer sports headlines. For the second week in a row, the Lewis women's basketball team has earned a unanimous first-place ranking. And the ladies showed us why last weekend when they traveled to Bellarmine in southern Indiana. After showing off their defense and holding Bellarmine to just 30% shooting from the field in Thursday night's matchup, the Flyers came out looking even stronger on Saturday against southern Indiana. The team picked up a majority of their points from behind the arc, knocking down 12 of 28 three-point shots, with 8 coming in the first half alone. But it was the Flyers' 10-point run at the end of the first half that set the tone for the rest of the game and eventually led to another Flyer victory. Senior Jamie Johnson led the Flyers in points with 18, while Lexi Grayer picked up 17. Both Mariah Henley and Kristen Itchner picked up 10 in the Flyers' 83-73 victory, extending their record to 19-0. The team is back in action at home this weekend against St. Joseph's and Indianapolis.
The men's basketball team also played on the road last weekend, looking to improve their record against Bellarmine and Southern Indiana. The Flyers started the road series against the #7 Knights and were able to keep up the pace against one of the top teams in the country, eventually taking the game to overtime. However, Bellarmine was able to put up 3 extra points in the extra period and eventually took the game from the Flyers 82-79. The Flyers looked to regroup on Saturday against Southern Indiana and looked stronger throughout the first half of the game. The Flyers had a 9-point lead at half but couldn't keep it together after that. Southern Indiana came up out of the locker room and put up 13 more points than the Flyers, which led to the loss. Despite freshman Max Struess setting up 13 points in the game and senior Ryan Jackson picking up 12, the Flyers lost by just 4 points, 64-60. The team will be back in action at home this week against St. Joseph's and Indianapolis.
After earning a #2 national ranking last Thursday, the Lewis men's volleyball team traveled to the East Coast last weekend and took on 2 Division I schools from Pennsylvania. The Flyers' first stop was Friday night at St. Francis University, and the team made quick work of the winless Red Flash. Seniors Jeff Powell and Eric Fitterer each picked up 12 kills on the night, while senior Greg Petty picked up 6 in the Flyers' 3-0 sweep. Powell also picked up 2 aces in the game. The Flyers look to continue their success on Saturday against #15 Penn State. The Flyers took the first set by 7 points, but the Nittany Lions fought back in the second set. However, the Flyers were able to take the next 2 sets and eventually came away with a 3-1 victory with the help of Petty and his 18 kills on the night. Powell also picked up 14 to help the Flyers lead to the victory. The team is back in action at home on Friday night against Barton.
Both Lewis track and field teams spent the weekend in Bourbonnais and competed in the NAIA versus NCAA Challenge, hosted by Olivet Nazarene University. The women's team came away as the overall winners of the event thanks to a pair of top two finishes from junior Amber Cook in the triple jump and senior Emma Polhemus in the 400-meter dash. Senior Rebecca Preisler also helped the team and won an NCAA provisional mark in the pole vault competition. The #16 men's team also competed in the same event and finished the weekend with a 3rd place overall finish. Junior Isaac Jean-Paul won the high jump event and narrowly missed an NCAA automatic qualifying berth. Junior Adam Barr earned an NCAA provisional mark in the weight throw competition to help the Flyers earn the 3rd place position. Both teams are back in action this weekend when they travel to Allendale, Michigan to compete in the GVSU 5-way competition.
Last Friday night marked the end of the home season for both Lewis swim teams when they took on the University of Chicago on senior night. The men's team honored 3 seniors before jumping in the water and breaking a pool record. Junior Victor Tarrant set the only record of the night for the men's team in the 200-meter freestyle event. Sophomore Brian Weiner captured a victory in the 100 breaststroke, and junior Zach Bullen took a victory in the 100 breaststroke to lead the men to a 104-100 victory. Meanwhile, the number 25 women's team honored 3 seniors before setting a pool record of their own. Sophomore Sarah Cameron broke the record in the 1,000 freestyle and came close to setting a school record. Despite the record, the team still lost 118-87. Lewis head swim coach Roger Carnes talked after the meets about the results, as well as how much of an impact the seniors have had on the teams.
You know, we had really great swims tonight, the guys especially, coming out ahead by 4 points against a team like Chicago. That's pretty outstanding. We're really very pleased. Girls are fighting through a couple aches and pains and a little bit of illness, so I thought we made a very good showing for ourselves against a very, very good team. Well, you know, they were the first class that's been with me for all 4 years, and like I said when we introduced them tonight, the foundation on which the current team has been built. And they've helped these underclassmen grow as swimmers and as people and as students, and really set the stage for the culture of success we want to have at Lewis Swimming. Critically important to us.
Both teams are back in the water on February 11th when they travel to Crawfordsville, Indiana to compete in the GLVC Championships.
Both the men's and women's tennis teams got a preview of their season over the weekend when they traveled to Western Illinois University for an exhibition matchup. The men's team took a 7-0 victory over the Leathernecks thanks to help from senior Armand Lavandi, who picked up a victory in singles action. The women's team also picked up a victory at Western Illinois, competing in both singles and doubles action. The Flyers picked up a 5-2 victory over the Leathernecks. The Flyers will start the second half of their season on February 7th against Lake Superior. Well, wow, I mean, it's the first time that the women's basketball team has ever been in first place and as for this long, so that's really awesome to see, so definitely congratulations to them. Yeah, 19-0 record. Hopefully they can keep that up this weekend with their upcoming games. And good to see the men's volleyball team, number 2 in the country. That's definitely a high ranking too. Absolutely. It's great to see that Lewis Athletics are starting out their season strong. Exactly. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk with Lewis head men's volleyball coach Dan Friend. Stay with us.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The American Volleyball Coaches Association ranked the Lewis men's volleyball team as the number 2 team in the country last week. Combine that national ranking with a 6-1 early season record, and you get a team that many fans believe are on the path to the MIVA championships. However, the road to the championships is a long one, and leading that team every step of the way is Lewis head men's volleyball coach Dan Friend. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So, as we mentioned, the team received the ranking of the number 2 team in the country last week. What does that mean for you and the team to have such a high national ranking?
Well, I think it's great. I think it's a testament to this program and what we've been doing over the past few years. I also think we had some early success out in California and went out there and played well and knocked off a couple MPSF teams at their house and played a BYU in a gritty 5-game loss. And so I think that's part of that, and seeing where our team's at, seeing where the team finished last year and returning a lot of those guys back this year. And so and I think it's great. I think the guys think it's a cool thing to be recognized with that type of ranking, but also know that it's a long season and we've got a lot of work to do to get where we want to go.
So as a coach, what do you think is the main factor behind the early season success? You mentioned it's a long season, a lot left. What do you think has helped so far this season?
Well, I think experience, maturity. You've got 8 seniors on this team. That really, these guys have played in a lot of games, in a lot of situations, in a lot of different venues. You know, were part of this Final Four group. Some of these guys were in 2012. They were part of the 2 regular season MIVA championships. They were part of last year making the NCAA tournament. So you talk about a lot of experience, and these guys know what it takes to get there. And they're also got, they're a little bit of chip about having even, wanting to win a national championship, wanting to get to the top of that podium. And so they know what it takes to get there, and they're trying to do that.
So over the weekend, the team was on the road, swept St. Francis, also picked up a 4-set victory over Penn State. What did you see that you liked in both of those matches?
Well, 2 road games, 2 wins. That's awesome. St. Francis is a place where it's been tough for us to play sometimes. We've gone 5 in the past. So to see us go in there and take care of business in 3 and get in and out of there and save our legs for the next night was really important. The guys did a nice job with that. And then we hadn't won at Penn State before. And Penn State's a perennial powerhouse. And, we went in there and played a great match and played consistent at a high level and got that win in 4. And so the guys felt really good about it. It was one of those things they talked about knocking off, checking off the board and getting it done. And to come home with 2 wins off the road was great.
So the team hasn't played any conference games yet and won't until next weekend on the road in Arizona. What's the approach starting conference play against Grand Canyon?
Well, I think, every match to us is important, and ultimately you want to win your conference. You want to be in a position to host as many rounds as possible. And so first off is taking care of these 2 games that are coming up this weekend, and then we'll dial in on conference and treat it like every game with the utmost importance. And I think, Grand Canyon is going to be tough on the road, open up. We open up with those 2, and then we're at Ball State. So it's 3 tough road matches, but I think we've prepared ourselves as best as we can with all the road tough conferences we've had already this season. So it puts us in a good position to excel in those environments.
So this season, some of the guys on the team that didn't play a whole lot last year are stepping up and filling some different roles. One of those guys, for example, is Scott Pfeiffer, who's seen a lot of increased playing time this season. How well are those guys stepping up and filling their new roles?
Well, Scott's been great. We've had 2 setters that have been battling that position, and that's Scott and that's Gert Leisha. And Scott's, won that out as of now, but Gert's working hard every day. But Scott's excelled. He was behind, a 3-time All-American BJ for the past 2 years, and I think he learned a lot of things being behind him, and he stepped in and he's created the position for himself. He does some things different, and that's great, and the team's responded well with him, and he has some great energy. Most of the other starters, our M2 spot has been, Schmiegel for the most part, and he started last year, and then, didn't play the whole year, and then he started again this year, and you've seen him excel at times as well. So, and then you talk about some of those young guys we have. I think those young guys are important in practice for sure right now. We've brought in, we had 5 freshmen that came in here in a transfer, and those guys have excelled the day-to-day operations and practice, which makes us a better team, which is really good. And those guys will be the future to come, do you know what I mean? And so it's important to get those guys good quality reps.
So you mentioned the 5 freshmen coming into the team this year. Mm-hmm. And you talked about the guys that have been around for a little while. How do those guys that have been around playing 3-4 seasons, how do they help the freshmen coming in?
Well, I think from day to day they do. They just, how they go about doing their business, from work ethic to how they do the stuff outside to everything, those freshmen see that and see how they carry themselves. And it's important because once those guys are gone, this younger group of guys will be the team that we have. Do you know what I mean? We'll still have a few upperclassmen in the following year, but I think it's really important, and those guys do a great job of that. We've got one captain, which is Eric Butch, and he's fantastic, but there's a lot of those different guys, that do different roles at different times, from Greg Petty and Jeff Powell to James Hoffman to Tom Logan to Andy Orff and Eric Fitterer and Lucas Yanez. You got this whole group of guys that all these different roles and different personalities, but know what it takes to get there and have accepted their roles in whatever fashion that is and really help make this team what it is.
So let's talk about you for a little bit. This is your 11th season as the head coach of the team. It's still early on in the year, but how does this year's team feel compared to, I guess, some of the other teams that you've had in the past 10 years?
Well, as you know, every team's different. I think, this team's got a great chemistry flow right now, and the ability to sustain that for a long marathon season is important, but they've started off in the right direction and really have done a nice job. Even in the loss, you know what I mean? You know, they took that well and took some stuff and made themselves better. And so, you know, we may have a couple other tough losses. And then how are we going to react to that? And I think this group of guys has been in that situation, and I think they understand what it takes.
So this weekend you have a couple of games coming up here at home. They're not conference games, but they're still home games. You have Barton and Sacred Heart. What are you looking for in those games?
Well, we've got some things that we've identified that we got to get better this week, and Barton's from Conference Carolinas, and so it gives us an opportunity to play one of those teams which we haven't done this year, and so, you know, we're going to prepare for those guys like we do anybody else. And then Sacred Heart, we went to their place last year, so having them at our place this year, and, you know, they went 5 with one of the teams in our conference, so it'll be important for us to be focused and dialed in for that match as well. I think we got a couple theme nights this weekend. I think it's community night on Friday, and I think Block Blue is on Saturday, so it's awareness for prostate cancer. And so great opportunity to come out and see the guys and see the level of volleyball we're playing. We had 2 home games already. I think we had about 1,000 fans at both, which is fantastic. So, you know, I think we've got a great fan base here and a great student support and a great community support, so it's always fantastic to be at home.
So fans, if they do come out and watch the games this weekend, can they expect to see?
They can expect to see some great volleyball. Do you know what I mean? I think our guys are high flying and they try to get the crowd involved, and it's usually a fun atmosphere to be in.
All right, well, thanks, Coach, for coming out and joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back here on Flyer Nation. Stay tuned.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words. Playing world music. What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Really?
Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. For the first time in school history, the Lewis women's basketball team is the #1 team in the country. The ladies maintain a perfect 19-0 overall record, with 9 of those victories coming in conference play. The team picked up 2 more victories over the weekend against Bellarmine and Southern Indiana and look for more this upcoming week. Here now to talk about the season so far, as well as this weekend's upcoming games, is senior point guard Nikki Nellen. Thanks for joining us today, Nikki.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. So, as I said, the team has unanimously been ranked the #1 team in Division II. It's the first time in school history that this has ever happened here at Lewis. What does that mean for you and the team to achieve such a high ranking for the first time ever here at Lewis University?
It's definitely a great honor and a really cool feeling.
So, as a player, I guess, what would you say is the biggest reason that the team is playing so well this year?
I think it's because we're not selfish at all and we play together really well.
So there's not a whole lot of basketball left, just a little bit over a month, and the team is still undefeated with a 19-0 record. Is that perfect record something you really think about before you go out and play every game, or do you just go out there and play like you usually would?
It's definitely something we think about because we realize that everybody we play against is going to bring their best game, so we definitely make sure that we know that.
So you mentioned everybody playing their best game. Do you feel like you kind of have a target on your back, so to speak? Everybody that sees Lewis on their schedule says, we need to go out there and and beat this team?
Yeah, it's definitely a target on our back. You can always feel the energy from other teams when you step on the floor. They get really excited to play us.
So earlier this season, the team swept in the exhibition games against the 3 Division I schools. How did those victories help set the tone for the rest of the season?
We definitely were not expecting to do as well as we did, especially when we played Loyola. We weren't expecting to beat them by as much as we did. And then we came out and we beat NIU, which was really cool. And after the Marquette game, that's when we were like, wow, we could really be good. So.
And the Marquette game for you was kind of a homecoming game. You're from the Wisconsin area, playing in Milwaukee. What was that like to play in front of everybody that you know in Wisconsin?
I was nervous, but it was really cool to look up. I think my mom said I had about 250 people there for me, so it was a really cool feeling to play in front of all of them.
So the team has been pretty successful since you've been playing here at Lewis, advancing the GLVC championships for each year that you've been on the team, and then winning the GLVC championships during your sophomore year. How does that experience, I guess, go into this season and having such a strong record?
Well, winning that conference championship was an awesome feeling, and it's definitely something we want to do again. And we all have the experience, and we know what it takes. So.
And you pretty much have everybody that was on that team still playing. You've had the same core for the past 4 years. What's the sense of chemistry like, having played so long with all the girls that are out there on the floor?
Well, 4 of us starters, we live together, so we know each other very well, and that helps on the court. We know where each other is going to be. We know how each other like to have the ball, so helps a lot.
So you mentioned 4 of you live together. I'm guessing that also helps build friendships and things like that when you're traveling on the road as well.
Yes, definitely have a lot of chemistry.
So there's some games coming up this week. Thursday night, you guys play St. Joseph. On Sunday, Indianapolis. If fans come out to watch the games, what can they expect to see?
Well, with the St. Joe's game, they always give us a run for their money no matter what their record is. So they'll definitely bring their A game. And with Indy, they always play us in a zone, and we usually don't see zones, so it'll be interesting.
All right, well, Nikki, anything else you want to add while you're here today?
Nope, thanks for having me.
Not a problem. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on Flyer Nation.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay, but remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Sweetheart, can I give you a hand?
No thanks, Dad. I got it.
Okay. I'm gonna go fix the lamp in your room.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
There were quite a few GLVC basketball games over the weekend, including the Flyers taking on Southern Indiana. Let's take a look at the current standings for both the men's and women's basketball teams. On the men's side, the Flyers are sitting in 5th place after losing their 2 games to Bellarmine and Southern Indiana over the weekend. Indianapolis is sitting in 1st place with Bellarmine just behind it in 2nd place. St. Joseph's and McHenry's round out the division. The standings look a little different on the women's side as the Flyers are sitting in the 1st place with their undefeated record. UW Parkside and Indianapolis are just behind the Flyers, with McKendree and Illinois Springfield sitting at the bottom of the division.
It's still early in the season for the men's volleyball team, and they haven't played any conference games so far, but let's take a look at the current MIVA standings to see where the men's team currently sits. Ohio State is the only team that has played a conference opponent so far, and they're sitting in first place. Loyola University maintains a 5-0 overall record, placing them in second, and the Flyers sit in third place with their 6-1 record. Grand Canyon and McKendree finish off the conference.
The GLVC selected 2 Lewis student athletes last week as the recipients of the Player of Their Week awards. We'll start with Isaac John Paul of the men's track and field team. The conference selected John Paul after he won the high jump competition at the Ileana Invitational 2 weeks ago and just missed a personal best jump. However, his jump placed him second in the event nationally. John Paul previously won this award back in December.
The GLVC also named Amber Cook of the Lewis women's track and field team as the Indoor Track and Field Athlete of the Week. The GLVC awarded Cook after she earned an NCAA provisional mark in the victory in the triple jump event at the Ileana Invitational 2 weeks ago. This is the first time the conference has awarded Cook since she joined the indoor team.
It's time to announce our picks for this week's Flyer Nation Player of the Week awards, and we'll start with Victor Tarrin of the men's swim team. On Friday night, Tarrin broke the pool record in the 200-meter freestyle event. The record Tarrin broke was his own, which he previously set in that event. Tarrin is a sophomore on the team this year and was named the GLVC Player of the Week 2 weeks ago and was named as the GLVC Freshman of the Year last season.
Our second Flyer Nation Player of the Week award goes out to Max Struess of the men's basketball team. Over the weekend, Struess combined for 26 points against both Bellarmine and Southern Indiana. While Struess may only be a freshman on the team, he's had an impact coming off the bench and has helped the team in tough situations.
On Friday night, the Lewis swim team honored a combined 6 seniors, 3 from each team. Amongst those honored were men's team captain Tyson Pollock and All-American Kristen Sylvie. Lewis head swim coach Roger Carnes said that this group of seniors was instrumental to setting the tone of both teams, and they're the first group of swimmers that he's coached all the way through during his time at Lewis. While the swim season may not be over, Friday night was the last home meet of the school year. Well, what an accomplishment for the head swim coach Roger Carnes. He can finally say that, the seniors that are graduating, he's coached them all 4 years and, the entire time at Lewis. Yeah, and it's good to see that he gets to see them graduate. I'm sure he's seen them grow a lot as not only players, but also individuals during their time on the team. Right, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back here on Flyer Nation.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills? Check. Driver's license? Check. And a high school diploma or GED.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
I got that. You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
Do you think he's on his way? He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing. Wow!
I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark. That was awesome! Let's go again. 3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
We have a busy weekend coming up in Lewis University athletics with 6 home games in 3 days. Let's take a look at the schedule. On Thursday night, both basketball teams welcome St. Joseph's to the Neil Carey Arena. Tip-off for the women's game is set for 5:30, and the men's game is set to begin at 7:30. You can catch both of those games right here on LUTN Channel 6 or lewisflyers.com. On Friday night, the men's volleyball team is at home taking on Barton. That game is set to begin at 7 o'clock and again can be seen right here on Channel 6 or lewisflyers.com. On Saturday, the men's and women's basketball teams are at home again taking on Indianapolis. The women's game is set to begin at 1 o'clock while the men's game will start at 3 o'clock. You can listen to those games on our radio station WLRA 88.1 FM and watch online at lewisflyers.com. And also on Saturday, the men's volleyball team is at home against Sacred Heart. First serve is set for 7 o'clock and you can watch that game on lewisflyers.com as well.
If you can't make it out to see the Flyers play in person, you can always watch the games live here on LUTN Channel 6 or online at lewisflyers.com. This weekend, our radio station WLRA 88.1 FM will bring you the Lewis Club hockey games against Ball State on both Friday and Saturday nights. Be sure to tune in to catch the action.
Before we end the show today, we wanted to show you a few dedicated Lewis Flyer fans who showed up at games a few weeks ago. Some of the fans dressed up during the volleyball game. One wore a mustard bottle costume, and the other one waved a flag that appropriately read Flyer Nation on it. If you or your friends dressed up for a Flyer athletic event and want to be featured on our show, feel free to send us a picture or a video, and you could end up seeing it on TV. Well, it's good to see a lot of students coming out to these athletic events and showing their school spirit, even though they get some laughs sometimes with their strange costumes. It's good to see that they come out and support their teams.
Right, absolutely. I think it's awesome. I mean, I can't believe that one even wore a mustard bottle costume.
That was interesting.
That takes some, that takes some guts to do that, but it's great to see that, students are out supporting the Lewis Flyers.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that will do it for us this week here on Flyer Nation. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to join us next week right here on LUTN for the latest in Flyer athletics.
From all of us here at Flyer Nation, have a great day.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.